September 21st, 1780. Three New York militiamen stop a lone traveler on a dirt road near Tarrytown. He's nervous, so they search him. Hidden deep inside his boot, they find a stack of coded papers. The traveler is actually British Major John Andre, the head of enemy espionage in America. These captured papers detail the defensive blueprints to West Point. This fortress controls the entire Hudson River. If it falls, the British will split the colonies in half and likely end the Revolution. The handwriting on the plans belongs to George Washington's most trusted commander, Benedict Arnold. He was selling the fortress for £20,000, roughly $4 million today. Before his name became a synonym for treason, Arnold was the ultimate patriot. How did America's greatest battlefield hero become its most dangerous enemy? When the captured papers reach George Washington, he is entirely blindsided. His best general, the man who had repeatedly saved the rebel cause, had sold them out. Arnold realizes the plot has been exposed while waiting to have breakfast with Washington. He abandons his pregnant wife, sprints to the river, and flees down the Hudson to the safety of the British lines. This defection strikes a massive psychological blow to the Patriots. The architect of their military survival had joined the other side. To understand the weight of this betrayal, you have to look at Arnold's record before 1780. He possessed a fierce charisma and a brilliant tactical mind that thrived in the chaos of battle. When the war began, he marched on Fort Ticonderoga to capture heavy cannons for the rebel cause. Shortly after, he built a makeshift navy on Lake Champlain that successfully stalled a massive British invasion. His defining moment came at the battles of Saratoga. Defying direct orders from a superior officer, Arnold rode directly into the British defenses. His charge broke their lines and secured the turning point of the entire war. He paid a brutal physical price for that victory. A musket ball struck him during the charge, completely shattering his left leg. By 1777, Arnold had literally bled for his country. To the soldiers and to Washington himself, he was the primary savior of the American cause. But military genius did not translate to political survival. Arnold watched in bitter frustration as the Continental Congress repeatedly passed him over for promotions, elevating junior officers who had sacrificed far less. While recovering from his leg wound, he was appointed military governor of Philadelphia. There, he lived wildly beyond his means, throwing lavish parties and sinking deep into debt. Local radical politicians seized on his extravagant lifestyle, accusing him of corruption and abuse of power. They dragged him through a humiliating court-martial, and Congress demanded he repay heavily disputed expenses. Then he married Peggy Shippen. She was a teenager from a wealthy, loyalist-leaning family, and she maintained active ties to the British spy network. Peggy fed his resentment. Squeezed by massive debts and wounded pride, Arnold gave up on the rebellion. Using his wife as an intermediary, he opened a secret channel of communication with the British. To maximize his payout, Arnold convinced George Washington to give him command of West Point. Once in charge, he deliberately dispersed troops and ignored critical repairs, systematically sabotaging his own fortress from the inside. Arnold did not defect out of cowardice. His fragile ego convinced him that the revolutionary government was ungrateful and corrupt, making them the true enemy. The $4 million deal was set, but the entire plot collapsed due to pure chance. On the night of the handover, random rebel gunfire forced the British ship HMS Vulture to retreat downriver. Looking at this map, we can see how that retreat stranded Major Andre behind enemy lines. Without his ship, the British spy chief had to walk back to New York through hostile territory. He took the wrong path and ran straight into the local militia. Andre took the fall for the entire plot, paying for Arnold's greed by hanging as a spy. A meticulously planned betrayal that could have crushed the American Revolution was thwarted entirely by sheer luck. Arnold got his money and a red coat in the British Army. He even led raids against the Americans, burning down towns just a few miles from where he grew up. But he found no glory on the other side. British officers despised him as a turncoat, and many refused to serve under a man who had sold out his own country. After the war, Arnold fled into exile in London. His business ventures failed, and he died broke, crippled by gout, and universally hated. Back in America, the public actively erased him. At West Point and Saratoga, monuments honoring the generals of the Revolution feature empty niches and plaques that purposefully leave his name blank. Arnold sold his country for money, but his final payment was a legacy expunged from history. He is remembered today only by an anonymous stone boot, honoring the leg he shattered for a nation he later tried to destroy.